Ooh. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. Now I got it adjusted. What's going on, guys? It is ISlyCooper88, also known as Steve, and this is a mulligan. I tried to record this a couple of hours earlier, and I ended up getting rid of it because I was still waking up, or in the process of like sluggishly waking up, and I was also trying to strap myself for time and get ready for work. But I didn't like how the video turned out, so I ended up just getting rid of it, and we're going to start over, which unfortunately some of my reactions are not going to be as genuine, and I unlocked 2 trophies in the process, which was I Still Can't Breathe, which is getting the little PTSD type situations with David under control, and also there was the fact that I also got the vision in the greenhouse, which we're going to redo. I also stopped the video because I wandered around aimlessly. I didn't figure out where I was going. I kind of wasted time. And on top of that, I ended up screwing myself up and not doing things the way that I wanted to do for this playthrough. But anyway, guys, welcome back to Black Mirror. I have come back off of vacation. I enjoyed my time with my grandmother and just being away from work and all that stuff. You know, I feel recharged. I feel better. So let's go ahead and get back into this. Let's get everything going again. I will try to be enthusiastic. I'll try to be enthusiastic about what we discover. I feel bad for those of you that didn't get to see it. But it's probably for the best because it didn't turn out great.
Stunning. How curious. Come and look at this.
But it's also the fact, guys, as well, that it just became a pain. You know, and I never want to do videos where it feels like a chore, but anyway, I'll get into all that later. I'll just let a lot of that, you know, lie where it lies. But anyway, guys, welcome back to Black Mirror in the last episode. For those that didn't get to see it, luckily, but for those that didn't get to see the previous video, the horrible video, basically in the last episode of Black Mirror, we discovered more about David's father. We discovered that John, or Jonathan, David's father, was very cruelly treated by his grandfather, Edward. And the more we learn about Grandpa Eddie, the more he is just an absolute monstrous piece of shit. Like, he was very cruel to his son, beat him, didn't care if he died. Because he was the local land baron, he threw people off the land and, forced a chokehold on witnesses, etc. or so forth. Like, he was just a very cruel, tyrannical man. And as we're about to find out, David had a vision in the chapel. And in the chapel we find out that his, his Aunt Celia had drowned, and that his father allegedly either did the deed or pushed her to it. And in the previous video that has now, I now got rid of, my first take on this, we find out some stuff that you guys are going to see for yourselves. I'm not going to spoil it for you. Also, in the last episode, we found out that the maid who wanted to tell us about our family's history, she did. And I found out that that was supposed to happen. We were never going to meet her to talk about the family history. And I also messed up my playthrough because you can do it one of two ways. You can convince Angus to give you the cellar key by blackmailing him, or you can do it the way that I originally should have done it, that I'm going to do it, which is we're going to leave Angus, Lady Margaret, and, Cousin Eddie to just, do whatever. And me and Dr. Laura here, or Leah, are going to try to sneak into the cellar without their knowing it, and try to look it up before, the cops come or they catch us.
Look, they form a clear circle.
This can't be a fluke.
So
It looks like one of the stones is missing.
A heavy enough stone to weigh yourself down with.
So now that we've...
Something's carved into each one.
We need to examine
To find...
to be sure.
And also what made me stop the video was I actually ended up... the game ended up freezing on me. I'm hoping it won't do it again.
I've never seen a rose like this before.
I have. The gardener, Rory. He brought some down from the glass house.
So we're going to go talk to Rory, who I still theorize he had something to do with most of this. I have a feeling that Rory has a lot more to do about this place than he lets on. Like, everybody's got all their little secrets, but I feel like Rory is the only one that genuinely is trying to help David, but also understands that in helping him, he's going to end up like the maid. And Rory... I don't know, something about Rory just seems off about me. Not in a bad way, but in a way where it's kind of like, this old dude knows everything that's going on in this house and is a little more chatty than everybody else. Like, he's dropping a couple of, truth nuggets on David and letting him fill in the blanks.
There are some strange markings carved into the stones on the shore.
Runes, aye. I'm old-fashioned, I suppose. Still hold to the old ways.
Superstitions don't gain validity just by being believed in for a long time.
I'd watch that. Your precious science doesn't have all the answers, lassie.
That is a very true statement, though. There's a lot of things that science cannot explain, or rather that science and superstition, they're one and the same, they're just different branches of an avenue. He's not wrong about that. Science and superstition and or faith, they have their places in society for a reason.
That's an unusual looking rose. I noticed one lying by the side of the loch.
Aye, that's been me. A flower for the flower of Scahandoo, Cecilia.
My aunt? They're for her.
I grew 'em for her. She loved the roses, did Cecilia. No the red ones, though. Made her think of blood, ye ken.
Forgive me, but wouldn't it be more fitting to place them on her grave?
Why, she's no there, is she, laddie? That's not where she rests. And I don't much stand by your modern god.
Rory, what happened to her? What happened to Cecilia?
I'm not in the mood to open old wounds, laddie.
May I have some of the roses, Rory? I'd like to place them on Cecilia's grave.
What's she to you? You didn't ken her.
No, I didn't. But she's family. And besides, Father always spoke fondly of her. He would even smile as he talked about playing in the gardens with her as a child.
He did he? Aye, well, that's good to ken. I should have some left in the glass house.
To ken apparently means to know. In Scottish. I'm noticing that with the dialect. Because the subtitles don't match like certain slang words that he's throwing out there.
I'll speak to you
Just
later,
an
Rory.
observation, guys. I'm not
will,
trying to
laddie.
talk just to talk.
Nobody in this house.
Okay, so Rory is old-fashioned. He believes in putting Scandinavian / Nordic / Celtic runes. Very old-fashioned and superstitious. Good to know. And he grew these flowers for David's Aunt Cecilia.
I have to thank you.
I'm glad.
That's very fascinating to me. But anyway. So yeah. It's very interesting to me because I'm getting a lot of different
Sorry,
feelings.
lassie, but you can't go in. It's for family only.
Just hold on a moment.
No, it's okay. I quite understand. You go ahead.
Aye, you must.
Well, that's a little bit rude, but I guess considering this greenhouse probably was Aunt Cecilia's, because they claim that, especially Rory, but a lot of other people that we've talked to in the family claim that she had a bit of a green thumb, so...
I know, it doesn't look like I have green fingers.
I'm going to make a prediction because Rory's talking about Cecilia and he's talking about old wounds. And he seems like he knows David's dad intimately. I'm going to make the claim that he's actually Uncle Rory. Because, I don't know, maybe I'm just being weird, guys, but this game, most characters act like they... Ugh, I don't
These
know.
are dead as dodos.
Hard to raise anything beautiful here.
Can you tell me about Cecilia? What was she like?
She was a lovely lassie, but she had more than her share of troubles.
Grandfather Edward.
You ken well enough, son.
You said she wasn't in her grave.
Aye, that I did, that I did.
Did she drown?
She did. Killed herself. Her body was never found. Now all I have of her is my memories. And they are not what they were. And this.
Are these...
Aye, Cecilia's roses.
They're beautiful.
I like to think so.
But they seem to be the only thing that grows here.
Looking to break some more locks, laddie.
Okay, smartass.
That is exquisite. Cecilia made this.
She made it, aye. For me. Girl must have cut her fingers 100 times doing it. on the thorns, ye ken.
Oh, are we going to have a well, okay, so we're probably going to have a vision in here. And this one, I have a feeling, if it's like the other one, it's going to be pretty bad. By the way, if anybody has epilepsy, I'm sorry. Please, like, be careful watching this vid. Actually, let me see if I can... Whoop. Let me see if I can turn the brightness down a bit. I don't like how that looks on my TV. Let's go up just one. Okay, that looks a little bit better. Because, like, I gotta be able to see what I'm doing because there's glare coming in from my window, but I also don't want to make it too bright. In case a lot of you are not only epileptic, but also for the fact that I don't want it to be like super bright so you're like, ooh, I need to wear sunglasses. I love this effect though with the rose petals coming through here. Like that's very serene and beautiful.
You are unworthy of the name Gordon.
Get away from her, you coward!
He scratched the word Baron into her arm. What a monster.
Holy crap.
The saboteurs Edward used. They ended up in this corner.
I mean, just comes in, smacks her, carves up her arm.
Get lost!
You monster!
Who is that old woman? It takes courage to confront Edward like that.
They lied to me.
Who did?
All of them.
Well, that was intense.
Was Cecilia not able to have children? Did that anger Grandfather Edward?
Maybe you can see well enough too, son. Maybe you can. It wasn't her, it was her husband. He was the bother. Couldn't, you ken?
I think so, yes.
Aye, well, Edward blamed Cecilia for it. For picking the wrong man for her mate.
So, let's recap this for a second before we continue the conversation. So, Grandpa Edward was a tyrant. he pushed and or killed Cecilia for corrupting his son, who he pretty much beat the hell out of on a regular basis, and then scratched the word Baron and basically treated her like she was a prostitute because her husband pretty much was impotent. That just, wow. Just wow. I have no words for that. Guy was a monstrous piece of shit, and he rightfully deserved to die, and I hope it was painful. Just, I agree with the old lady. You know, he's a coward. I mean, she's a timid woman, and he just smacked her around and knocked her out and smacked his son around. But anybody that dared to stand up to him, you know, I guarantee he probably backed down from.
What just happened?
I could ask you the same thing. You started to talk to yourself. And then you were throwing your arms about like you were fighting something. I couldn't see what. You started bawling, and the lassie came in to see what was going on. She tried to settle you, but you just went for her.
I saw an old lady. She wore a long, flowing dress. Her voice was strong, determined.
Sounds like Rosemary. She was Lady Margaret's mother. You'll be fine, laddie. You just need some fresh air. This place can get to you.
So that was kind of intense, so we...
The crack is right there. Edward was furious. Seems like him and great-grandmother Rose didn't see eye to eye.
So Lady Margaret's mother didn't take too kindly to Edward smacking around her daughter, which means that Margaret and Cecilia were sisters. So why does Margaret talk about Edward so fondly? Like, how can you condone your husband beating your own sister? Is it because Margaret was jealous that, you know, Cecilia was more well-loved than her? Or favorited by her mother and other people than her? And Edward was the only one that gave her any validation? Or did she just have Stockholm Syndrome and just likes Edward just because? But that, either which way, that's messed up.
The secateurs should be... Here they are. How could I know? This seems awfully accurate for a forgotten memory.
Because you're seeing things, David. Things of the past. To right the wrongs against those who are no longer with us. That's just... So these visions that David is getting are visions of the past.
Laddie.
Trust me, Rory, I will. My instincts are telling me that Grandpa Edward is the reason for a lot of the mishaps around this place.
David, are you all right?
Am I all right? I should be asking you. I'm so sorry I hurt you. I don't know what happened.
Don't worry. I faced much worse in the asylum.
She's tough. I don't think it's possible to face her. Sorry again.
Maybe don't leave me outside like a naughty puppy next time.
Yes, quite. I think that Edward may be responsible for the death of my Aunt Cecilia. Not directly, She drowned herself in the loch. I think that Edward drove her to it.
Old families usually have a skeleton or two in the cupboard.
Yes, but my family has a graveyard full.
Oh, hey, Ice Bear. Rent? Okay, I'm gonna call a couple of different theories. I think... Because if you watch the last episode, guys, Cecilia talks about how she's gonna take her baby with her into the loch when she killed herself. And Edward seemed to grab the baby and threw the rock on top of her to keep her down. I'm going to make the theory that I think Cousin Eddie may have been that baby. Now, I know that that sounds wild and out there because Eddie looks like he's in his 20s, but something just... I wouldn't... Actually, you know what? I wouldn't even say Cousin Eddie. It might be Angus. Angus might be the child. I don't know. This game is going in so many different directions that it's making my head spin. And it's making me, like, theorize what is going on. Like, where are the dots connecting at in this? And I love it, but I hate it at the same time because it's like, ooh, just give me the juicy details. Like, quit suspending, you know, my... Ugh. I love this game because it's making me like on edge for a lot of different reasons, not just for like the thriller aspects. Huh, right. Oh, you're making a Spider-Man 2 reference.
I feel like the madness that runs through this family, through these walls, is starting to seep into me too.
I can help you, but you need to open up. You need to start talking to me.
You would not believe me if I told you.
Stubborn, just like your father.
Whatever secret this family is hiding, it's costing lives. Cecilia, the maid, my father. God knows how many more over the years.
Okay, so let's go back inside. We've pretty much like solved everything that we're probably going to be able to solve out here. I don't think there's much else that we really can do. And naturally, I imagine Lady Margaret, Eddie, and Angus are in one of the many parlors within the house. You know, they're in like the farthest parlor where Lady Margaret was listening to her little turnstile beat. Been referencing it all day. Hey, you do you, man. Okay, wait for this to load. Okay. Oh, come on. Okay, I'm gonna turn up the brightness now. Because, like, I'm trying to, like, get it in areas where I know the brightness doesn't need to be super high. But in, like, the dark areas where I'm roaming the house here, I really, like, need the brightness up so I can see where I'm going. I mean, I know I should probably, like, wait for Leah because she has the candle, and that's how the game kind of wants you to approach this. Like, letting her follow behind you. But... Oop, wrong way. But I kind of want to find out where I'm going and just, you know, get to it. To the point, I say everyone is. Okay, so now we're in the hallway. And I believe... Ooh. Oh, there we go. I was trying to find where the hallway door is. Like, it's not just bad that, like, the glare from my window is, like, making my TV a darker shade than it needs to be. But it also sucks because I'm having to turn up the brightness on the TV when I know I don't need to. Okay, so...
This dumbwaiter is huge.
It is. It goes all the way to the second floor, but judging by the spiders, it's not used very often nowadays.
The spiders?
Ugh, don't ask.
This dumbwaiter is...
It.
The spider...
Ugh.
I love that. Don't ask. Okay. So,
Rory's not one for cleaning up after himself. Rory's not one for...
Rory's not one for cleaning up after himself. Okay, so we enter the garden here, but... Question mark? We can't come back into the larder here?
I guess we'll have the key. Unless we can find another way in.
I believe there is another way in. Could use the dumbwaiter. I mean, it is practically a huge...
We need to examine them...
To find out...
To be sure...
Okay, you're not helpful. Like, at all.
I think I might have an idea how to get into the cellar, but I'm not sure you'll like it.
If it involves this filthy dumbwaiter, don't even think about it.
Not ladylike.
You said you'd help me, so help me.
On my terms.
On my terms.
True, that wouldn't be very ladylike.
You might want to consider what I do for a living before trying to taunt me this cheaply.
Oh, you got a little bit of sass, don't you?
I can't fit in there, and I see no other way into the cellar.
You're asking me to put a lot of trust in you, given the circumstances.
You can trust me, and I will do my very best to learn to trust you.
All right, then. Clothes can be washed. Lovely. Pull me back up. I need something to open the doors from the inside once I'm down there.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think David, despite all the stuff that's going on in the game, I don't think David's crazy. I think it's just, it's the malevolent spirits of the house, and especially the...
This should do it.
Especially the house of Grandpa Edward. Spirit of Grandpa Edward's, bit of a malevolent spirit. So, yeah. Okay.
Going down.
Good luck.
See you in a minute.
Okay, so we're gonna dumbwaiter.
Dr. Farber. Is everything all right? Leah! Oh, if anything's happened to her.
You needn't worry about me. I've been to stranger places than this castle. Follow me.
I don't know why that was funny to me. It's just like you just let her down there, like give her a minute. Getting all frantic and worried. Okay. Now that goes back upstairs. Now that Cousin Eddie's, not here, I want to try to look around and see what we can possibly find in this, lovely creepy area of death and mayhem and murder. Come on, Leah. Walk a little bit faster. Actually, you know what? On second thought, you're going to be moving too slow. I'll just turn up the brightness and see where I'm going altogether. That's all this episode is going to pretty much be. It's pretty much just going to be me adjusting the brightness, sliding it up and down. Okay, so let's walk around first before we examine the maid's body. Just to be sure, I want to make sure that any, okay, nothing back that way. As they say, it's not a rent-free country. Oh, I've been laughing all day. Oh, and today, one kid said he was going to beat me on Friday, and I don't think he's got the guts to. Yeah, a lot of people like to talk mess. I'd say just not even take it at face value. Ugh.
What a horrific way to die. What a horrific...
Okay.
Her neck's been broken, and with some considerable force, it seems. Her necklace looks like gold, albeit a plain design. And it's missing any form of pendant.
Still, well beyond a maid's salary.
Where's that sudden draft coming from? Mr.
Oh,
Goldman?
so her...
Speak to me, please.
So her neck was broken with, severe force.
David,
Holy
can you
crap.
hear me?
The missing pendant. He threw it into the blood-filled basin.
Mr. Gordon, are you with me?
Hang on, Leah. I'm in the middle of something here. So the pendant is
Mr.
thrown.
Gordon? Speak to me, please.
Your stag is here, my little doe.
Little doe. Not exactly the usual way to address the staff.
David, can you hear me?
Ew.
Mr. Gordon, are you with me?
Her clothes. He ripped a seam open.
We're all here, sir. All down in the dark. Something's coming. The attic, sir. She's in the attic.
What just happened? You look like you were in some kind of trance.
Perhaps the lack of sleep is affecting me. Or the visions that you'd think me insane if I described them to you.
I know you're holding out on me. I am on your side, remember? I thought I'd proven that to you already.
Perhaps I'm misjudging her.
Your father wouldn't speak to me either. Please let me help you.
Or not. I'm not her patient. I'm not a madman.
You might not be a madman, David, but trusting her would go a long way, even if, as a professional, she won't believe you.
The seam really did rip when she tried to get away from him.
Ugh, that's horrible.
You're not the one with your hand in it. French. I don't speak French.
I do. It says for Clara, forever yours. Who's Clara?
I don't know. Yet another relative, perhaps?
We should ask someone who's been around here for longer. How did you know it was there? The pendant, I mean.
If I told you, you wouldn't believe me. A hunch. Eddie gave this to her. We should ask him to his face just what his relationship was with her.
This isn't another ghost story, is it?
Look, you wouldn't understand. I can't...
What I do understand is that we cannot accuse a man of murder without proof.
You know, I don't like the snippy attitude that you're giving me here, woman. I'm trying to figure out the mysteries of my family and junk. Okay. Anything else before we head back up? We haven't checked our inventory in a while.
The maid could never have afforded this. This is a trinket of the rich, not a servant. The maid could never have afforded this. This is a trinket of the rich, not a servant. The maid could never have afforded this. This is a trinket of the rich, not a servant.
Okay, now I feel like I'm getting turned around here. Yep, I'm getting turned around. Okay, come on, David. Go the right direction. Aha! There we go. Found our way back. Okay. So Eddie murdered the maid because she kept rejecting his advances. That, that don't sit well. So I'm kind of curious with this chapel piece if it unlocks anything in the study.
I've seen firsthand just how terrible a bully.
Yeah, screw him. Yeah, this is the library. This isn't the master study. That's not what I'm looking for. When I'm angry, I can be just as insane as the Joker. We need the Legends of the Dark Knight movie. Technically, we already got kind of a Legends of the Dark Knight movie in that massive anime movie that they did many years ago. Like that anthology thing. Ah, there we go. This is where I need to be.
Let's see if my trusty key will get this open. Not like this.
Oop. Oop. Okay.
My family. Yet they're all still strangers to me. My family. Yet they're all still strangers to me. Grandfather Edward. Just as he looked last night. The boy. How did he provoke Edward into throwing him down the stairs? Lady Margaret. She looks happy. I can't imagine her smiling like that these days. Another part of the model, and it's stained with what seems to be old blood. Why did Father bury this when he was a child? Another part of the model, and it's stained with what seems to be old blood.
Yes, yes.
Why did Father bury this when he was a child?
What the? I didn't ask for that.
A note about a library, a key, and some sort of broken toy. Should I even try to read any real meaning into all of this?
Okay, let's grab the master key here. Okay. So I probably got it turned the wrong way. Or maybe I don't. Nope, I do. Yeah, let me look at this.
Not like this.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, I see. I see how the key has to go now. Okay. Keep forgetting when I'm using the D-pad that I need to be using the analog stick because it switches the menus on me. Okay, hang on. Come on, rotate the other way. So if I was looking at it from this keyhole,
I've never seen a key like this before. It feels like Father wanted me to keep it a secret.
okay, I'm getting this twisted around. There we go. Okay.
I've never seen a key like this before.
Enough.
It feels like Father wanted me to keep it a secret. Not like...
Okay, let me look at this closer. Okay, so cross tip. Oh, wait a minute. I think I see how this is gonna go.
Not like...
It would help if I could see, like, which direction they're wanting me to face this key. Like, that would help me a bunch. Okay, so if I'm holding it like this, and I was going like this, or rather, this part of the key would go in this way. So this would go over here.
Not like this.
Okay, I'm starting to get mad now. This should not be difficult. Wait a minute. Yeah, because if I'm turning it this way, then it should go that way. So why is it not going that way? Do I flip it around?
I've never seen a key like this before. It feels like Father wanted me to keep it a secret. Not like... Not...
This is very interesting to me in the fact that I've got it faced in all the different right directions and variations, and it still won't pop this thing open for me. I do not get it. That bothers me. I don't like when I don't get something. Because if I was to lay the key like this, I can't move this little bit right here. And that goes into the lock. Right? And that part flips down over here. So they are opposites. So the lock is acting like it's turning. So we are to presume that if we were to flip it, try and flip it around. So if we turned it like this, this part would twist upwards and turn. Well, it's just, I'm trying to imagine if I was using this key and I'm turning it, like how it would turn in the lock. That's why it's infuriating. Because if I flip it this way, which I know is the exact way Jonathan's going to use it, then it's going to flip upwards like this. And, wait a minute. Okay. Realistically, I'm sure some of y'all are laughing and just going, oh God, you have it in the right combination, Steve. Let me flip it back over here. So we are to presume, come on key, rotate the right way. There we go. Trying to get on my nerves. So if we were to flip it, nope. I'm trying to simulate like I'm turning the key. There we go. It's going to turn like this. But because this part would turn up. Ergo, this part, if we were turning this upwards, yeah, because if you're turning it sideways, and then you flip it upwards, that's going to flip that part into the lock, presumably. Right? Or, wait a minute. Because I'm trying to look at the key itself and I'm looking at the way the shape is. Or maybe I'm looking at this from the wrong angle. See, if you flip it, then that means... So what if... Okay, I'll do that later. I've wasted more than enough time trying to figure that out. And I've wasted a lot more time than appropriate trying to figure out how to get whatever that is done. So she said the attic. That is just annoying. Like, that right there is why I don't like puzzles in games, mainly because I can't get half of this stuff done. And I waste time that I could easily be using to, like, talk to you guys, help you guys out, and plan further in the game. You know, I basically waste that time trying to figure out something that I know I should already know. Or shouldn't be that hard to figure out. But I'm wondering where that circular notch comes in at.
If you'd just like to wait out here, sir.
I need to speak with Eddie.
The young master and her ladyship are otherwise detained.
We're not going to push Angus away. We're not going to claim to be the owner.
Fair enough. If Eddie really gave her that pendant, he might be her killer, and I might not be losing my mind. If Eddie really... Mr. McKinnon, who is Clara?
The lady, Clara, young Eddie's late mother. A box with some of her belongings are kept in the library, as Master Eddie feels himself more a Gordon than a Mallory.
Maybe once I found out what really... If Eddie really gave her that pet... Nobody in this house... There's no doubt about it.
Okay, so the library it is. So far, this did not turn out to be the episode I wanted. But we're still making a little bit of progress nevertheless, guys. Don't be fooled, we're getting stuff done. Just not at the pace I would have liked.
belongings of Eddie's mother. Recognize that?
The necklace. Is that...
A young Eddie and his mother Clara.
Thank you for your last letter. My heart soars with every word of yours I read. I touch the ink and imagine your fingers are just inches from mine, that we can almost touch, that I can almost feel the warmth of your skin once more. Young Edward grows more like his father each day. You'd be amazed how he shares your looks. I long for the day that this terrible war is ended and you return home to us, so we can be a family once more. I shall write to you again soon. Know that until then you are always in our hearts. Your loving wife, Clara.
The date. She was writing this when the death notice arrived. Oh, the poor woman.
I regret to inform you that your husband, Corporal Victor Mallory, number 874511, was killed in action with the enemy on the day of the 14th of September in Ypres. Your husband was involved in an advance against enemy lines. While he and his fellow soldiers fell, the action was successful, and you can take comfort in knowing his sacrifice saved many lives. It was not possible to get his remains away, and he was buried in a soldier's grave. Please accept the condolences of all the company. Yours, Captain Arthur Jones, 4th Army.
The belongings of Ed. You see? The necklace was his mother's. He gave it to the maid. The maid!
You're right. We need to speak to him about this. But how could you know this? I can't help you if you don't tell me.
Cousin Eddie might be a murderer. How I draw my conclusions can wait for now. You see?
You're right, but...
Cousin Eddie...
Ooh, Eddie is in trouble. Right as soon as we can get out of here. Yeah, I feel like I do need to say sorry for wasting so much time on trying to do the model puzzle. I should have probably given that up like minutes earlier. But I'm also very stubborn when it comes to puzzles. I don't like feeling beaten or having to like pull up a guide. Anyway, let's go in here and let's have a little chat with Eddie about why he took out the maid. We're going to show Eddie the pendant.
I need to ask you about the maid. About Ailsa.
You didn't know her.
I know that you and her were... That is to say, I know you had feelings for her.
What? That's poppycock. You're as deranged as your father was.
David, really? You go too far with this behavior.
The police will be here soon. Would you not prefer to clear this up before they get here, in case they link Eddie with the crime?
Now look here, young lady. How dare you speak?
That's enough. Eddie. You gave her this. It was your mother's.
I did. It was.
Eddie!
I was just trying to cheer her up. She has nothing, and I had no need of it. You know she sends... You know she sent most of her money home to her grandmother.
Her clothing was ripped, as if someone was trying to force themselves upon her.
I would never have hurt her.
My little doe. Strange thing to call the help.
How? It was just harmless fun, that's all.
You're a worthless liar. You think she thought being pressed against a dead animal was harmless fun?
How do you know? It's true. Elsa and I would never have laid a finger on her. We were in love. I helped her with everything, even with her chores. Rose and...
That's quite enough. Eddie, you are obviously upset. And you are not helping, David. Angus, will you please take the young master upstairs?
As you say, Mom.
I think you have caused quite enough disruption here. We shall settle this heritage dilemma first thing tomorrow.
I don't think so. I have more questions now than ever. About my father, the maid, this whole damn house.
Have a care, David. Need I remind you of your father's temper?
I would never.
Given the current mental state of Master Eddie, who should be a part of the heritage considerations, any discussion on the topic would be futile at this point. Would you not agree?
Thank you, Leah. Maybe it's a good thing you're here after all.
Impudent brats!
What's going on?
Did you notice when Margaret got angry?
When Eddie mentioned chores involving Rose. What does that mean?
It can only have something to do with Lady Rosemary and Aunt Cecilia, and whatever the maid was doing in the attic.
The attic?
I saw the maid coming down the stairs with a tray, but there's nothing up there but an empty room, or so I thought.
Interesting. What is it, David?
I have to see.
David, wait!
See, there's the ghost child of Jonathan again. The pieces are starting to fall into place now. I'm starting to figure this story out, and it's not a good one.
You have to start confiding in me, David. What are you seeing?
We're going to tell her the truth. You know, we're seeing what looks like memories.
I can see echoes. Memories of those who lived here. I see my father as a young boy. He's trying to communicate with me.
Perhaps you visited here as a child. Maybe you're remembering stories your father told you of this place when you were young.
You see? I said you wouldn't believe me. If I'm only remembering things, how would I have known where to find the pendant? How could I have known he tried to force himself on her? Unless you think I killed her.
I don't think you killed anyone, David. And you're right. I can't explain it.
So?
So, we focus on the facts as we know them.
Go on.
You saw the maid's body. Her neck was broken. That was the work of a human, not a ghost, yes?
I suppose so, yes.
Lady Margaret knows more than she's saying, that's for sure.
Godspeed getting anything out of that old hag.
No, I know. But Eddie might be an easier option.
Yes. Yes, we need to find him. And make sure Margaret isn't there to interrupt.
I believe she's already gone to bed, but I'll check. You go find Eddie.
Okay. Let me make a save real quick here. Oh good, now we have a candle.
Well, that's clear enough.
We're not going to go to the attic yet. Oh, it was right there the entire time. Jeez. We're going to wander around for a bit. I'm going to take a few minutes to look around, see what else I can dig up. I'm trying to think for a second here, guys. Well, she's gonna take care of that. let's just go ahead and go into the attic. Wait a minute, why does it look like... It almost looks like lights illuminating from there, so let's go there before we head to the attic. Just in case.
I don't want to bump into Margaret. Eddie will be upstairs somewhere.
Good point. So let's see if Eddie is in any of the rooms upstairs. This is a very, like, slow-burned episode, I'm noticing. Very slow-burned in the fact that not much is really coming out of it.
Do I need anything from in there right now?
Oh, there he is.
Still working hard, I see.
A lawyer's work is never done.
May I ask you something? What can you tell me about my Aunt Cecilia?
Beyond her name, I know nothing about her, I'm afraid.
And Rose?
She died before I entered the Gordon service.
My Aunt Clara. How did she pass?
It's a funny thing, from what I know. She had a fever, something she should have recovered from, but Lady Margaret said it was as if she didn't try to fight it and she let it take her. Lady Margaret raised Eddie as her own after that.
I'm still debating the transfer of my ownership. I'm not sure whether to do it or not.
Well, it's not my place to advise either way. But it is part of my job to provide a conduit between you and Lady Margaret. I'm confident we can work toward a solution.
Thank you for your time. I'll leave you to it.
Indeed. The sooner I finish, the sooner I can leave.
Leave?
This place, I hate to say it as a grown man, but it gives me the creeps. And with what happened to the maid, well...
Quite. So... Until later, then.
So even the lawyer is starting to get freaked out by this place. So the only place that I can think of is the attic, and that's got to be where Eddie is at. Whoa, I just like... I just like whooped right up into the clouds there. Okay, so Eddie is not in either of the rooms to the left or the right. So the only deduction as far as upstairs is that he has to be up in the attic. This is getting very interesting and intense. I mean, it's a slow burn, but I like that it's kind of building up to something big here.
Well, hello, my dear Elsa. Oh, Sir Edward. You look very handsome today.
Eddie?
Why, thank you. You're as beautiful as ever, my little doe. Oh, mwah, mwah.
What? Excuse me? Yo, that face though that he made, that Michael Myers face. Don't mind me, Eddie. I'm just gonna roam around here for a second.
Self-made dolls. Ugh. The stuff of nightmares.
We got a trophy for that. I love that. Ugh, self-made dolls. The stuff of nightmares. Okay, this game's starting to pick back up for me now.
Eddie, can you hear me? What can you tell me about Great-Grandmother Rose? What did Elsa have to do? Eddie!
Okay, that was, that kind of sent a little bit of a chill up my spine. Because that is some Class A horror movie stuff. Just the whole, I can't tell you what's going on, you know, I'm going to point in the general direction. See, I knew someone with that crucifix was going to come up.
Be quite safe, the little rabbit said to his brothers and sisters. The fox is fast asleep, so rabbits tiptoed past. But the fox was sly. He wasn't asleep at all. He opened his mouth.
I've warned you before to mind your place. This will be the last time you defy me.
The eyes of the fox, they shone with cruel light as he punched on the rabbits and ate them all one by one. It was only then he went to sleep, his tummy full, his heart content.
I wish I had a webcam, because, like, I noticed that, but, like, Yo! Yo! So the crucifix that used to be there, Grandpa Edward took the crucifix off the wall in this family home and basically beat Lady Margaret's mother to death with it. All because she dared to stand up to him. Holy shit! Like, this dude had, like, I thought this episode was just going to be a lot of fluff and Turner and all that stuff. This went 0 to 100 real quick.
I wonder what's on the other side. Is there... no, can't see a switch or lever. I guess not all castles are like Edgar Allan Poe used to describe them.
This went 0 to 100 real quick. I was going to stop the episode right here, but now I got to continue. I got to see to the conclusion what's going on here. They got me intrigued now.
A secret passage.
What do you think you're doing?
That won't be long, I hope. Look after Eddie. Just a little further. Damn it!
Ooh, nope, 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 nope. Ooh, this is giving me chills now. Like, I hate it, but I love it.
That's it. Open wide. Good, good.
I don't want any.
That's all right, dear. Did I tell you that John's son David has arrived? He's as bothersome as his father. Not worthy of this place. Poor Angus will never recover from the sight of John's charred remains. Selfish, selfish man.
Please, don't.
I do not enjoy this, as you well know, but you brought it on yourself. Your son was a good man. You should not have defied him.
This is getting fucked.
Rosemary.
And I don't say that lightly.
She's barely skin and bones. How is she still alive?
Tom never didn't switch. It was in the bookcase.
You scared me half to death.
Well, you will insist on wandering off without telling me where you're going, and I just managed to avoid Lady Margaret when... Jesus, God!
That's exactly my reaction.
Big and heavy, but it's seen better days. Just how long has she been chained to this bed? I saw this.
In a vision?
Edward beat her with it. Used it to cripple the poor woman.
Oh, my God. And he hung it there to remind her every day. Take it down.
You're sure?
Do it.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you. Thank you.
Where are you going? We can't leave her like this.
I agree. That's just... That's just so fucked up. He beat her with it and then hung it up in front of her to basically show that she wasn't shit to him. That is some Saw stuff. Like, Kathy Bates in Misery is a kindergarten play compared to this.
Rose? Rosemary? Can you hear me? Rose? Rosemary? Can you hear me? Rosemary, I'm David, John's son, your great-grandson.
Here, try this. No, like this. Gently.
Who did this to you?
Edward. I was bad. I disobeyed.
Disobeyed? How did you disobey?
Cecilia. I tried to stop him. Stop what he was doing.
What was he doing, Rosemary?
Should not have disobeyed. Not disturb him in the old wing. Never talk back.
Rose! Rose! What did he do to Cecilia?
I don't think you'll get anything more out of her. Poor woman. Come on, Lady Rosemary. We'll get you out of here.
No!
We can get you somewhere safe.
I'm safe here, in this room. Safe from the Black Mirror.
The Black Mirror. Margaret has a lot to explain.
I am in bewilderment. Because this game went from a simple psychological horror to now it's taken on a whole new meaning.
I think we need to have words with her ladyship.
You know what, David? It's time to take off the kitty gloves. It's time to quit being nice. It's time we get shit done.